You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Yo, 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 Rebels, how you living? Holy cow, did you enjoy that Sunday or what? Now, after an outstanding NFL playoffs, we had a pretty damn entertaining game. Not as high scoring as I was hoping for, but it came down to the final plays of the game, and we have a new champion and plenty to get into, from halftime to commercials to on the field, off the field. And oh, guess what? There's other sports too. I mean, like, let's not forget about, like, I don't know, the one with the round ball and the hoop and the little, like, rubbery puck roundy thing. It'll be fun. On ice, that one. We got all those sports. Holy crap. Let's get into this thing. So, without further ado, Rebels, welcome to DSR2. Let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here's your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2 on this wild and crazy Wednesday here. Yes, be prepared, Michigan. You'll have all four seasons within 24 hours. And we had a high in the low 50s today. Now it's raining. It's going to rain tonight. We'll get ice and then 4 to 8 inches of snow. Yeah, and then cold for the weekend again.
All right. Well, and it's inevitably always half of what they tell us.
Yes.
Because especially when we get this whole warming just before it happens, they always mistime this. Every single time that we get a warm spell before we get smashed with snow, half of it turns out to be rain. This happens 3 times a year, every effing year, since my kids were in middle school, roughly. So it's not been a real long time, but the last 15 years or so, this has kind of been a trend here in Michigan weather. Though it does feel like when I was a kid, we used to get snow a lot earlier. I felt like when I was younger, we would even have snow on Thanksgiving occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
And
I was part of that on there. We get snow on Thanksgiving, and I was part of that. I'm old enough to remember the snowstorm of the Thanksgiving weekend, which Thanksgiving fell late in the year, late in November, and the first weekend, like that Sunday was like December 1st or something like that, or November, and we got hammered with 20 inches of snow. It just kept coming and coming and coming. And what did we do the next day? We just had to dig ourselves out.
Yeah.
On there. Nobody had snow blowers because it's 1974.
Right.
And we didn't have school for the entire week.
Sure.
You couldn't drive.
Yeah.
You could down there. I mean, literally, my neighbors on there built an 8-foot high igloo in their backyard. That's how much snow we had. It was literally 8 foot tall and 16 foot wide. It was monstrous.
Yeah. That's the thing. Michigan's definitely feels like, I mean, we're turning into old fuddy-duddies and kind of dating ourselves a little bit, but it is kind of odd how we could feel like the climate change. It just feels different, it just does. We have a weird dichotomy of weather here. Like, it's so weird. Like, you can literally, like we joke about the 4 seasons in a day, but you could have the same seasons at the same time in the same day in the same yard. Like, I've had my yard split where it's like damp and cold and rainy over here, and I look out in the front and it's all sunny and like nothing happened. It's like, what in the hell? And it's just typical like Michigan. You get February and it's a roller coaster ride. Up and down,
Sure.
on
there. And that's what we're gonna get. And it'll get cold over the weekend, get a little decent over the beginning of next week, and then they're talking possibly another system hitting us again next Thursday.
Sure.
A week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
we're not out until mid-March, and then we get the rain again.
Then we get a little bit more stable. But again, I've seen snow on Mother's Day. I've seen flurry.
Sure.
You can't count
that.
But then I also seen 75 degrees on Mother's Day.
I was about to say, you're more likely to see the warm spell than the cold one, but there has been times where you're like, whoa, wait a minute, is that snow I see floating in the air? No way. No way, because that's effing May. So what are we doing here?
It's craziness out there. So, I mean, if you're out and about tomorrow and you're on the road, just be careful. I mean, again, obviously people weren't careful last week on Super Bowl Sunday. We get a little squalls come in there and people lose their minds and pile-ups and everything. So
it was a mess here. So, wherever you are, if you're dealing with weather and stuff, especially in like, you got the East Coast and the Northeast, and a lot of you guys deal with a lot of crazier stuff even than we do. So, be careful out there for sure. No elements to deal with in this game, though, whatsoever.
No,
so
perfect.
We're going to get into the Super Bowl stuff, of course. Like I said in the intro, we'll get into NBA. There's plenty of stuff going on. The trade deadline, we didn't think anything was going to happen, or we didn't know what would happen, but wow, things happen. So we'll talk about Harden and his situation and what Ben Simmons does. What else has gone on? You're going to want to talk Olympics, so I'm going to get all bent out of shape later. So you guys just hang out a little bit. When I'll start melting down, you'll know what it's for. I got fucking Olympics. God damn it.
I like the Olympics.
And Moose is like, for years you've been teasing me. You're not patriotic. You hate kittens and all this other nonsense.
No, puppies.
Oh, puppies.
You hate America and you hate puppies.
Whatever, yeah. So he gives me this crap all the time because of this stupid, crooked ass, messed up sweatshop of an organization. We'll get into that too. But I know you guys have been chatting at the water cooler and shooting the bleep with your friends and all that fun stuff, and you've been listening to the radio spots and watching the TV spots, and you've had enough. But please hang out with us while we break down this game, because I think it'll be a different perspective than what you're used to seeing with these bouncing heads, as proven by just about every podcast we've done since, Moose, we've been doing this a long time, 2010-ish.
Yeah, that's when I mean, I'm halfway through my 12th season.
Yeah. So 2010-ish. So and I've probably been doing just a little bit longer. So, but it's, I thought it was a pretty good game. I don't know where you want to start, Moose. If you want to get into the goofy stuff first or right on the field. If you want to address the officiating and the whiners that come with that. Because, I mean...
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit right off the bat because people are whining about the officiating. But again, have they watched the NFL this season at all? I mean, come on. The officiating has been terrible to begin with all season.
Look, I want to point something out that's super obvious, okay? Let's break this down into all kinds of...
And again, it basically, they're terrible on both sides. So.
Can I tear down the onion on this official thing? So there's a shit ton of layers to the official situation. So we already know that the officials in general aren't great.
No.
They make mistakes and they do stuff. But have you ever noticed that when the NFL decides they want to put an onus on something new, that is the worst officiating year we have?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
And then they want to get cute with how they pair up teams, officials, like officiate, how they do these officiating crews. And then they try to be cute in the playoffs.
Yes.
These guys work as a team all year long. Then you want to pluck 2 from every team or whatever, or 1 from every team, and then throw them all together when they don't work together.
Right.
Thinking like you're getting some kind of all-star playoff team thing going on here, when it doesn't work that way. So now you combine all that with really look at the evolution of the sport and the athlete. Like even the face mask call that didn't get called, which is the most egregious one when you see it straight on, like I didn't see it in real time because of the camera angle we got. We got a shitty camera angle. So I get there's going to be mistakes. My question is, if you know all of this, these are all given things. Like you're never going to fix all that. We can't take robots out of here and we can't legislate every single thing. But some shit you can fix. And really, unless you're going to go down that rabbit hole or die on that hill of what you're going to be able to review and not review, then the conversation about how the referees performed is done. It's over.
Right.
And it's nothing because these guys are out here and they're playing and they have chances to win and they make mistakes too. And that's why they don't win. It's not because the officials made a mistake. It's the same thing when these idiots wanted to blame the officials for Dallas not being able to get the ball down earlier in the year. Nah, dude, they screwed up.
Right. Dallas knew because, yeah.
So I get sick of hearing all this stuff about the official. They're going to make mistakes and they're going to do things sometimes to try to compensate for those mistakes. You've seen makeup calls. Don't tell me that shit ain't real.
But for the official setting the ball the center knows this.
Yeah. Oh, they all know it.
They all know this.
They better know it.
They better know this. How many times does this happen every game on this? And they've been playing for how many years?
Oh, yeah.
Just hand the ball to the ref.
Yes.
Because they showed it on there like a year earlier, a similar situation where Arizona was, and they got a first down inbounds, didn't have timeout. And what did they do? They basically got the ball in. And they handed the ball right immediately. Again, it was Larry Fitzgerald handed the ball right to the ref so he could get it there and they could get the play off.
Right.
He knew the rules.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yep.
Boom.
So my whole thing is look, cats are going to make mistakes and they're going to have to overcome them, and the officials are going to make mistakes too. And the issue wasn't that. They had a chance to win at the end. Everybody had a chance to win at the end of this game.
Right.
And to be honest with you, if OBJ doesn't blow his knee out,
the Rams win by double digits.
Yeah, it's almost because I'm sure it becomes a runaway.
Yeah,
because they weren't stopping him, and he was well on his way to an MVP game. The way he started out,
both of them. I mean, they were both at 50 yards and a touchdown when he blew his knee out.
So
you would have had Stafford. Stafford probably had 4 touchdowns, 350 yards passing, and he gets the MVP.
Yep.
He doesn't throw that second pick.
Right.
Because that guy, I mean, people are, he threw the second. Dude, well, you put it right in the hand.
Yeah, you can't. You only can do so much.
Crap. That guy's hands on there, and that ball went up on there. So that, and the first one was like a punt.
Yeah.
Go there, and basically they threw it in the end zone, and they moved out to the 20. They did nothing with it. So again, it was like a punt.
Yep.
So don't give me that crap on there. And again, the same thing too is like all these clowns out there. Oh, he's game managing, dude. He didn't throw anything beyond 10 yards. I watched the game. He threw more than 10-yard passes there, clown.
Absolutely.
And again, to win that game the way they did, that freaking 15 play, 80-yard, 15 play drive on this, and they knew what he was going to do.
Yep.
All he had was Cooper Kupp, and he goes, I'm going to throw it to him. Go ahead. Triple cover him. I don't care.
So
stop him.
This is the whole thing. This is what happened. The team was on. They were a team, the better team. When you look at them on paper, what everybody broke down on what we saw, what we looked at, I'm sorry, but LA is a better team. They should have been. I love the Cincinnati story. We love Burrows. We've talked about it all the time. We'll talk about it more. But, and I feel for you, Cincy, no doubt about it. But they were the better team, and it went down the way it was really supposed to. Had they stayed healthy and they had not the injuries, you'd have got run over. And since they didn't, you had a chance to win. And in the end, Stafford had to take the one guy he had left and do everything. There was no secret. Everybody in the building and at home watching the game knew exactly what they were going to do. They had no other options. No. There was nothing else they could do, and you couldn't stop them. You couldn't stop him, Cincy. You couldn't stop him. And he picked you apart and plucked you down, including, didn't he have a fourth down on that drive? And a third down?
Yeah, the fourth down was the basically the hand. They did the kind of jet sweep to Cooper Kupp to get him the first down.
Right. It was a fourth. Yeah, it was the Cooper Kupp's run play, basically. Right. Yes. So don't give me that they didn't like. And then in the end, y'all still had a chance.
Right.
You still had a chance. You could have tied this thing, sent it to overtime. It was all set up for a tie. It was all set up for a tie. You're telling me, all of you at home, come on now, after what you saw all playoff long, none of you at home were going, oh, they could get a field goal here.
Oh, yeah.
None of you. Not a single person thought that was possible.
I did. I thought
every single person watching the damn game thought that was possible. Cincinnati fans thought they could get touchdowns, but at least get the field goal.
Right.
They already had the plays planned out in their head. Don't tell me that. Everybody did.
Except
for one effing thing.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Because you pissed him off in the third quarter when you all surrounded him, got into his face and everything. I'm like, I don't think you want to do that.
Well, ultimately, in the end, they have a big money defense y'all forgot about, too. And we talk about it all the time, Moose. We've been beating the door down. Championships come from defense, baby. You always win championships with defense. And we knew that would be the case. That it was as apropos as it could possibly be. The only thing I would have liked to have seen. Okay, I got one for you. You know what the refs robbed you of? A touchdown on either team, right? Because that's what you should have. That's essentially what happened, right? So if everything kind of flowed a little bit better, you might have had a little bit more scoring.
Right.
But other than that, the outcome is the outcome.
Right. It was a good game on there. It was what it is on there. You know what? And what Cincinnati's going to have to do, especially in this offseason and free agent draft, is they got to shore up that offensive line.
Right.
The Rams got 7 sacks on him. JoJo was sacked 19 times in 3 games.
I know.
He's looking like, dude, I'm not going to make it 10 years if you can't get me some protection.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Like, I'm done. Okay. I know you guys are huge fans out there of the sports gambling type. But sports betting has absolutely ruined sports talk radio in this town.
Oh, my God. That's all they talk about. Bet.
And they know jack shit about sports, okay? I am hearing these idiots spout off about, getting Jameis Winston or Carson Wentz as a stopgap quarterback over, well, I don't know, the stopgap quarterback you effing have now that doesn't cost you as much?
I'm not taking Jameis, or I'm definitely not taking. I'll just keep Goff because he knows the system on there. You get him some weapons. He wasn't half bad when they had Josh Reynolds and they were able to stretch the field a little bit.
Dude, you want to hear the dumbass arguments? Oh, we bring in one of these quarterbacks and we can just, take our draft picks and do like Cincinnati did and just get a wide receiver for the quarterback and do this and that. We'll worry about the offensive line later like they did. Well, where are you going to get, I don't know, that tandem at?
Right.
Like, that's the thing. And did they not way overachieve this year? I mean, did anybody think they were going to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year?
No, because I thought they'd finish fourth. I thought that division was going to be one of the best divisions on there, and I thought Cincinnati's going to. I thought Pittsburgh was going to finish dead last in the division. I just had this feeling. But no, I didn't expect Cincinnati. I thought it was going to be Baltimore and Cleveland battling it out.
So like, don't give me this thing that like this Cincinnati model's of a thing, and then. What was the other excuse?
And we don't need offensive line. We've got a good offensive line on there.
I just don't get why you're going to have to. It just doesn't make any sense. Do you think all of a sudden that Jameis Winston's going to come here and not be a turnover machine?
Where has he not been a turnover machine?
Do you think all of a sudden Carson Wentz is going to come here and like not be a effing head case?
Yes.
Like, what do you think is so special? Have we not learned a effing thing about what happened with Stafford?
Yeah.
Leaving here? I mean, the dude thanked the Lions for getting the deal done the moment's walking off the field. So, like, he wins a Super Bowl. The confetti hasn't hit the ground yet. They stick a stick in his face, and the first thing he does is thank the Lions for trading his ass.
Right.
Dude, what's that tell you? And he went from... what were the Lions to Super Bowl champs? As much as the turnaround for Cincinnati is great, the difference from what Stafford was to what he's dealing with now is even greater.
Yeah.
And so don't do this ass backwards nonsense, dude. You build this team, offensive line, defensive line, whatever you can get. I'm watching mock drafts already. Todd McShay's mock draft has the Lions. It's the whole premise has the Lions picking at 1 and 25. The fuck are you smoking? They're picking 2 and 32.
Right.
Not 1 and 25. And you got them picking a quarterback?
They're not taking a quarterback.
What the fuck? What quarter? You got 4 quarterbacks going in the first round? Like who?
Yeah.
Who? Who's a first-round quarterback?
Name me a starter out of this draft.
I mean, get out of here, dude. If you're a first-round quarterback, I expect you to start in a couple of years. The other argument I heard was you get these guys. This one burns my ass. You get these guys. Oh, let's get Jameis Winston, and then when we draft somebody, we can. They can learn behind Jameis or Wentz. No. They can learn for a couple of years and be. But okay, that's the dumbest shit ever because that very rarely happens for one. And who in this draft is going to learn behind who? You're going to learn behind who? You're going to learn behind who? A head case that a guy couldn't read a defense if you drew it out on a napkin with a crayon.
Are either of those two going to get us into the playoffs next year? No. Then why bother?
Yeah.
You already got a good offensive line. Ragnar will be back. You've got bookend tackles at least for the next 5 years. Right. You've got a nice guard there with Joseph. Vitae actually played pretty good at the right guard in that. They're only going to get better. They've got depth. Everybody's back on the offensive line. Even the guys that are basically the reserve guys, everybody's back.
Yep.
You've got a great running game.
Yep.
You get a pass rusher, shore up the defense. If I had a chance on there, and if I got 2 great defensive ends on 1 and 32, I'm going defensive end. Right.
Yeah, I am too. Well, you've seen what's going on. We talked about defense winning championships and was had an aneurysm just talking about it.
Again, don't get me in this. Oh, they're going to take a quarterback too. No, they're not.
They shouldn't.
They won't.
I hope not.
No, I don't.
My whole thing
I can almost guarantee. The key is who. I mean, if somebody comes out to the Giants say, "We'll give you the 5th pick over and the 7th pick overall for the number 2," I'm making a move.
I mean, maybe, but
I would because you're going to get the kid out of Purdue at 5,
sure.
Or you could actually get
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton, the monstrous safety. You could play safety
Yeah.
or get linebacker at 5. You get Karloffis at 7.
Well, to me, the only way
Then
to
you
go,
win.
Yeah, to me, the best way to go is back. You're not going up. You definitely want to go back. You definitely want to accumulate more assets. So yes, if I can do that, I'm going to take that move every day.
Or the Jets want 4 and 10. Yeah, I'm making that move too. I don't care.
Right.
Give me more. If I get multiple picks, especially those two in the top 10, if I get 2 top 10s for the 2, I'm making a move.
I mean, you're in a full rebuild mode. That's what you need to do. And since there's
get
no quarterback in this draft,
There isn't.
get as much draft equity as you can and get all these guys on rookie deals while you can. That's how teams turn around quick. If you guys want to do all this crazy shit that I hear on these pipe dreams and this asshole stuff these guys talk about in local radio, and I mean, you guys are professionals, and this is the topics you bring to the table, and this is the takes that you have. It's ridiculous. No, dude, that's the losing mentality.
Yes.
If you're going to continue to do that, you're going to continue to lose. You're going to continue to be the worst franchise in all of professional sports from a winning percentage standpoint. You will always be that. You will never ever climb out of that.
No, and I'm with you on that. I think what they need to do is, again, maybe that 32nd or the 34th pick of the draft, you address that. You can get a really good receiver. I'm probably leaning towards David Bell out of Purdue, 6'2", 200 pounds, runs great routes, great hands, a lot faster than you think on there. Good size on there. Go with him, and get that second, third round pick. George Pickens out of Georgia. There's your receivers. Boom, boom, boom. You got Cephas coming back. Maybe you resign Reynolds on here because he's cheap.
Right.
And you go from there on that. But you got to get a defensive end. You got to get a linebacker. You need to get another safety.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you do all of that and you can get some other weapons out there, then Goff can be serviceable.
Right.
And that's what you want from your stopgap. It's a guy that you're coming in. He's going to be serviceable.
We're not going to be that great. Well, next year is, again, if we win 7 to 9 games next year, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be happy. That's all I'm looking for. And again, who knows? Things can fall apart. I mean, if the Minnesota falls apart, they get rid of Cousins and his team just implodes on there. The Bears, I'm still not sold on that. Who knows with Rodgers? I mean, now he's broken. He broke up with his girlfriend or his fiance. There's a shocker. Having problems with women again. Jesus, that's all he has.
He's a douche. He has problems. No, I don't know anybody. I don't know how you like him.
He is a douche.
Like, look, when usually like all the super talented guys that you put at the top and everybody is synonymous with this, that, you know what I'm saying? He's always in the conversation with Brady and all the top guys, always has been since he's had a chance to win get to a Super Bowl and win it type scenario. But what I can't think of a single human being that would like this guy.
No.
I mean, he's the most unlikable guy that does all this great stuff you'd want from your athlete. It's one of those cats, like, even in Green Bay, they're like, yeah, I mean, thank God he wins. Because if he didn't, he'd have to go.
If he didn't win his first Super Bowl and they lost to Pittsburgh on that one, they would be, oh my God.
Even now, his shenanigans.
It's just wearing thin.
He has Super Bowl level shenanigans. He has to make it to the Super Bowl to outweigh his shenanigans.
And he hasn't.
And he doesn't get there.
It's the whole thing.
And the bad thing is it's not like he does a Tom Brady and goes out there and throws for 500 yards and 3 touchdowns and then loses. He goes out there and shits the bed.
Right. He's had one good playoff run.
Right.
He's had, how many times has he lost at home field advantage?
Yeah, that's...
You lose at Lambeau. That is one of the biggest home field advantages there is.
I think that is the biggest just because I don't know how in the playoffs, and we're talking playoffs here, not in the regular season.
Right.
I don't know how you ever replicate being on that field.
You can't. Because the weather, in the weather, so you're having a team out there, like Brady goes up there last year in the cold. They're from Florida. He's playing in Florida. They come there and they just basically steamroll them.
All right.
Frisco goes in a couple years ago, just runs right down their throat.
And that shouldn't happen.
No.
I mean, I'll give Brady a pass because he's the GOAT and he played in that weather his whole career.
Yeah.
But
he played his college ball at Michigan.
Michigan, yeah. But no, I think the whole, that is the single biggest advantage in the NFL is that field because they can practice in it. They can get prepared. They know what to expect. They get more time in there because it's accumulative time. So, I mean, yeah, if you
and you're not having the opposing team take over that stadium.
No,
they don't know.
No,
there's like a 30-year waiting list for tickets.
Right,
it's ridiculous. I mean, they actually have a provision under you. Yes, you can will your tickets to your
sure. Yeah, as far as getting getting in the building. Yeah, I'm not even talking about it from a fan base standpoint because you can shut them up.
Yeah,
but you can't make Lambeau Field not be lumpy, cold, and full of ice and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't make that wind and cold and snow go away. You can't do any of that stuff. You can shut the crowd up. You can't stop that other shit.
No.
And when you're in these warm weather territories or you're in a dome, like 90% of the 95% of the league is either in a dome or in a warm place.
Right.
Well, that's the ultimate advantage. You're the top 5% or whatever it is.
Basically, there's you and Buffalo.
Right.
And then if you're dealing with the weather in the crowd, and then you got Seattle. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Mile High, because you got to get used to the altitude, the oxygen, because you're a mile above sea level.
Dude, those guys train like that.
Oh, yeah. And of course, now they're getting used to it, and they got oxygen. But the Green Bay and Buffalo, you can't train for cold like that.
Right. Nope. You can't. You just can't.
I mean, again, you get those freaks of natures when, back in '81 when Cincinnati beat the Chargers. They were then San Diego. San Diego should have won that game. San Diego was by far the better team.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close. But then again, you got 59 below zero wind chill. What the hell? I mean,
yeah,
dude, they're taping up the ear holes so their ears don't get frostbite.
All right,
because the wind's that cold.
So crazy.
I mean, nowadays, there would be like, no,
you're done.
We're not playing this game.
Yeah.
We got to move into it.
Yeah, this is not safe.
You know what?
But
indoors.
So, anyway, so like that's an issue. So I mean, there's a lot to come out in the fallout from the Super Bowl. But anyway, I know we've curved way away from the game itself. You guys, I know, have gabbed up about the game and you've hit it up. I just want to hit some of those points, man. I think everything is what it is, dude. They won how they should have won with their defense and their offense driving them down, their defense sealing the deal.
I just watch that game on and I get more and more pissed at freaking Mayhew and them for not drafting Aaron Donald and taking Eric Ebron.
That's what I'm saying. That's a perfect example. You pick
I watch it. I'm
tight end at 10.
And we passed on Ebron. I mean, we passed on Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Because we knew Sue was going to leave.
Right.
Well, let's just draft his replacement.
Yeah. Nope.
That 14 team would have been outstanding.
Yep. But it wouldn't have mattered. They would have just shit the bed because they didn't have.
Caldwell's coaching it. I think they would have been on there. Well, but you would have had Donald and Sue at least that last year.
Oh, that would have been.
We would have destroyed Dallas.
Yeah.
Romo would have got killed.
Well, yeah, that would have ushered in
Aaron Donald is just a monster. An absolute monster. 10 years in the league, and they showed him in the parade, and he's got his shirt off. I'm like, Jesus Christ. My God, you're like a superhero.
Yeah. He's got to be, man. You got to be at that position. I mean,
he is just an absolute monster.
Those guys
just a definite. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And the story was Caldwell didn't want him because he was too small. Because he wasn't 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah.
He's 6'1".
Whatever.
Dude runs like
you need speed and mobility and power all in a combination pattern.
Freaking strong,
and he's got all of it.
He's got everything.
And these guys don't understand. They underestimate strength because they think size is the difference. Yeah. Now I get leverage in why you look at somebody at a certain size for a certain position. So you're like looking for a certain leverage advantage, but. Yeah, these guys get all the time. I mean, it doesn't matter from Aaron Donald to Drew Brees. It doesn't matter.
Aaron Donald,
everybody's too small.
Aaron Donald is playing what Sue should have played like.
Yeah, honestly. Well, you know what happened with Sue is he got in his own way.
Yes.
Between the ears. So
I mean, that sports science one is still something you just go, holy
dude. Yeah,
Jesus.
from a physical standpoint. I'll put him up against Aaron Donald any day.
Especially
but between the ears, no way.
Aaron Donald's better,
and that's what makes Aaron Donald a better player,
right?
Because he's now he's gonna though you may be able to be physically more imposing than him. He will just outsmart you. He will use that against you. He'll find a way to use that against you because he's just a smarter, better.
And they made the adjustments at halftime. They would get the pressure on there, and again 7 sacks, and that's how they end up winning the game on there. And it was a good game to watch, and I enjoyed it. And
exactly, and that's to me that's the whole thing. You got an enjoyable game. Now the commercials, some were all right. They weren't great.
They were a step up from they've been the last couple years.
Last couple years we haven't gotten nothing.
They were garbage.
So some
this
of
year
them
was like all right. Okay.
Yeah. So to me, I thought some of them were all right. I liked Arnie as Zeus and
that was cute.
Some of the goofy stuff.
My favorite actually was the Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen Lay's commercial.
Oh yes.
You never saw any of my movies? No. Even the ones we started together? No. Which I enjoyed that. The Larry David one. We're like, yeah. And, honor. Now the halftime show.
Oh, dude. If it's not in your top 5, then you don't get it. It's okay. You don't get it. Just take your little, and just go somewhere else and just sit this one out. Because even if you're not a huge fan of hip hop, the cultural significance of this performance almost automatically gets it in the top 5.
Yes.
The fact that from a musical standpoint, a stage performance standpoint, entertainment standpoint, they really missed 0 cues. They ticked all the boxes. If I'm going to pick something, I have to nitpick.
Yeah.
If I have to go in and nitpick, and you guys are doing it too, because when you didn't have nothing, all you had was fat shaming 50 Cent. So if all you got is body shaming 50 Cent, who would squash you like a fucking bug, you fat, gnarly, pizza-filled sumbitch, talking shit, he would smash you, he'd drive you into the ground like a nail with his fist. Then you obviously don't even have anything real to criticize, because deep down you understand that what they did was absolutely amazing. The setup was really good. It was smooth. It was groundbreaking. The fact that you had, besides Eminem, this was a primarily African-American cast, crew, and setup from performance standpoint, from the dancers and the singers. It was something that you just don't get that kind of representation, especially from that genre of music and that urban culture. And because it's not just like African-American thing, it's very urban too, which is a totally different, often associated with African-American, but not. But you have that combination platter there, and everybody knows Snoop and Dre and what they're all about, and them and everybody and all that, and so and they absolutely killed it in everything from the stage, the lighting, the performance, the sound, just the professional way that they dealt with it, got it set up, they promoted it, the way it was delivered, the way it came off, how it sounded on TV, how it looked on TV, like everything that they did, it checked every single box that there was. They hit all the big hits that they carried. I think the only thing is the Kendrick Lamar thing, where he was like doing the rap with the doing the real fast kind of like different style kind of rap with a little less backbeat. I think maybe that would throw off maybe the casual listener that doesn't know much about hip hop and maybe wouldn't see the artistry in that little segment that he did. I thought it was very well put together and hard to do in that setting. I think that would be the only, once again, I could nitpick that we talked about having a surprise. We knew they would have a surprise guest.
Right.
It was 50 Cent. My only beef would be nitpicking what it should have been Ice Cube, because that's the natural NWA tie-in. You have Straight Outta Compton hit or something like that, and then just have him come out, dude, and do his segment and then cut to the next song and do like they did instead of 50 doing In the Club. I think that would have been the only way you could have made that hotter. And that's it. So now I have to nitpick that thing and say, it took an act of God to make Prince's better.
Right, because it was a thunderstorm.
Yeah, during Purple Rain.
Yeah,
and
which he closed it with Purple Rain
Right.
in the midst of a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And there was no lip syncing. He played
He
it all
played it all
live.
the way through, and yeah, they absolutely killed it. And this, once again, the stage, the lighting, the setup, it was all perfect. They checked all the boxes. So, yes, you can nitpick what you want because it's not your music, and those are hood rats and this and that and the other thing. You're just throwing up red flags for your racism and ignorance.
Yes.
And you should just, check yourself before you click send in your little ignorant Twitter feed and your dumbass social media. And if it's not for you, you can simply say, hey, you know what? It's the same thing, right? I broke my foot, got free tickets. The old lady made me go to Nickelback. I hate Nickelback, but guess what?
They put on a hell of a show.
I had to clap. They put on a fucking great show. I can't stand them, don't like them, but I got to give them credit. So do the same damn thing.
We all kind of make fun of Nickelback.
You know what I'm saying?
The winner gets 2 tickets to Nickelback. The loser gets 4 tickets to Nickelback.
Yes. So, just do the same thing and say, you know what? I'll do the same thing that I say when it comes to Nickelback. You know what? I'll give them credit. They just not for me. That's all. It's just not my thing. But I give them credit. They put on a great show. And you can say that about this. It's okay. And so to me, it's top 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I put it in top 3. It was, again, I was like looking forward to this show, and I agree with you. The only thing, again, as on there, I would love to see Ice Cube, and I would have loved to hear Straight Outta Compton.
Yep. And I would have just took that, like I said,
just the Ice Cube, the intro on his, which would have been great. Snoop Dogg was phenomenal.
Yep.
As
always.
Always.
Yep.
Then him and Dre on it, and then Dre doing from the Chronic. I mean, it was just doing California.
Yep.
It was a great. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm in my mid 50s.
Right. Well, this is my wheelhouse. This stuff all came out when I was in my high school, just out of high school ages. The whole East Coast, West Coast battle was in the prime of my young, influential life. That was all going on while I was like honing my craft. And I've spent 25 years in the music industry, and most of that as an active touring rapper.
We've been looking forward to something like this forever and ever. And you go, oh, hey, they got it. It's great. And all this. And you go, yeah, it's most of those people that actually got into them when they first came on it. Yeah, you're scheduling your colonoscopies now.
Right.
Which is like, shit. But again, I'll listen to that. I mean, I don't like new rap and everything, as we call it, mumble rap, and I call it booty call rap. Right. But this was, on it. I like Kendrick Lamar, and I thought his performance was really good. I mean, Mary J. Blige was outstanding as well.
She looked great. She looked great. Her spot was great.
Her spot was spectacular. Awesome. I mean, great. Yep. Super with it. But as I said, the only nitpick on there, I would have put, just like you, I would have put Ice Cube in over 50 Cent. Yeah.
So as I stew on this a little bit more, and I realize the cultural significance of getting a rap group as a headliner, being the halftime show. That's the biggest spot in the history of spots. And I know Dre put out about $7 million of his own cash to make that performance happen. And it's a pay to play game.
Yeah.
But they got on the biggest stage that there is out there. And I know how hard it is to get rap booked. To get rap shows booked in venues, insurance companies don't want to touch you. Nobody wants to touch you. Sponsors don't want to touch you. Nobody wants to come anywhere near you. You work so hard at your art and try so hard to change, the stigma of like, okay, can't you understand that just because my art isn't like your art doesn't mean that it's any less art, and that I don't work hard at it, and that this isn't a passion of mine and something I think about, and that people enjoy and can be monetized. Like, why can't we all just make money whether you like it or not? Like, music agents and record execs don't like everything they book. They just book it because it makes them money.
Right.
And like, so if you can't respect it for that, then respect it for the money. And like, cats just don't get it. And so it's been a long, hard grind for rap to get any kind of legitimacy at all. And that is the ultimate spot right there is having that slot. So for me, it will always be number 2 behind Prince, because I think even Prince doing that performance and all that stuff was kind of groundbreaking in its own right. And then, but it took an act of God to make it better than this one. And so, but when you look at an overall performance and all that stuff, I can sit back with realistic eyes and say it's in the top 3, and if you don't have it in your top 5, then I don't know what the fuck you're watching. And so that's kind of my aspect with it. But for me, on a personal level, it just that act of God and the Prince is the only reason it's not number 1.
Yeah. And that's why
because of its significance to the game when it comes to hip hop and what I've gone through in my 25 years to never really get out and get those opportunities, and for them to do something that, I mean, if you think about when hip hop started and it took this long to be able to make it, I mean, that's I agree on it, because I would have to Prince number 1, and I would say them 3. I would probably have to put the YouTube one on there because it was right after 9/11 and the whole show where they got the huge drapes without everybody's name on it. It was very, emotional. Sure. I think that's where a lot of people's 1 and 2 kind of come in. They'll look at that. They'll look at the Prince one. I think people were sleeping on Prince a little bit until they started. When you look back on it a little bit, I think they appreciate it more than like even when it was happening. But I think as the U2 one was happening, I mean, it was just, everybody was just fully drenched in it. And like, it just, it invoked that emotion like across an entire country. And so, when you do that, that is a surreal thing where like you get the goosebumps and your hair stands up and all that. And that surreal thing could be an argument for why it would be a 1 or a 2 for anybody else. But that's why I say, I can look back and at it and realistically and say, it can be a 3.
1 or the other. The differences between 1 and 3 on 1, 2, and 3 are so slim.
We're nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, we're like razor thin on it.
Sure.
I think again with it is just for the sheer enjoyment. Because I think the anticipation of this halftime show, because we've been waiting for something like this for literally our whole lives, and we see it, and it's like, all right, they didn't let us down.
Yep.
It wasn't just. I wasn't disappointed. I'm like, damn it! Yeah. And you got these little nitpicks. I mean, could have been. I mean, if they had Ice Cube and they do NWA and they go straight out of Compton, then that may jump into the top 2. It may, on it. And again, it depends on it. I mean, if they get the hologram of Tupac and they do the folk, then you might move into number 1.
Yeah. If they did all that, it would be off the chains.
As a musical standpoint on there, and again, I'm in my 50s, and I love the old school rap like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on it. I mean, maybe they'll have one on the East Coast, and they'll get all the East Coast guys out there.
Sure. Well, and my whole thing is, it's like, if nothing else, now let's not be afraid to book stuff.
Right.
Let's not be afraid to book shit.
Because they nailed it. They perfect with it.
Right.
And the NFL's like, okay, we can do this again.
Yes.
We can go on there. We don't have to be afraid.
Right.
We don't need the geriatrics. We don't need freaking Coldplay. Coldplay doesn't need to belong at any Super Bowl, period,
Absolutely.
ever.
And guys.
Maroon 5. I mean, dude, the guy was freaking. You rip on Snoop Dogg for smoking a blunt. Freaking.
You're nitpicking.
Adam Levine was fucking hammered out of his mind.
You're nitpicking. It's the other one, too. I saw people like trying to like start this like bullshit heat on Marshall for taking a knee. And it's like, guys, they were doing a Tupac song.
Right.
He took a knee for Tupac. Keep your racist ass at home.
Right.
Stay off the internet.
Yeah, he was right.
Your racism is showing, because this had nothing to do with the
anthem,
the Kaepernick thing. And guess what? That was about social injustice. So once again, your racism is hanging all out like your wiener at a troll fest.
Oh wait, I thought it was all about the anthem. You don't lay on it, but the anthem was. This is halftime. The anthem was on it. So
it's so stupid. It's so dumb. That's why I was like, I was trolling a dude. I'm like, well, what's he got to defend himself against? Well, you know what people are saying about why he knelt, and I'm like, well, what are they saying? He's like, well, and I'm like, no, I don't. No. They're not saying anything. I just know he knelt. I watched the show. He knelt. Well, what's he got to defend himself from? Well, you Google it. I'm like, there's nothing to Google. I know there's a ton of articles that he took a knee during the thing, and that people are speculating on what it possibly could be. What are you saying? Why don't you tell me? That motherfucker wouldn't do shit. He wouldn't
Right,
say
he was
shit.
afraid to.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knew it was
Oh,
going to happen.
yeah. Come on, motherfucker. Come on. Please. Please type the words. I'll just slang that racism
Yeah,
right
I don't want
out
to
on
hear
the
about,
keyboard.
we could have had Ted Nugent on there. And I'm like, seriously, dude? Ted Nugent's playing the state fair or the county fair circuit now.
Well, yeah, between, fire jugglers and midget wrestling, yes.
He's doing a halftime show for the figure eight racing. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it was between the demolition derby and the midget wrestling. Somewhere in between there is usually where he catches. And he's usually in the tent with the sleep-matic beds and all that stuff in there. So
don't give me a break. Whereas these, I mean, again, how many millions of albums they've sold? How many Grammys have they won?
I know. Stop.
But you got to come up with trouble. So we all know why.
Yes.
We all know.
It's just
Come on, tell me why.
It's not a good look. But
I'm not going to say it. You tell me.
Yeah.
Because I know what
exactly
what
what it is. If it wasn't that, you'd spill the beans so easily. You wouldn't be doing all this. You would have just said what you needed to say. But since you know what you're saying, you some bitch.
Yes.
Come on with it. Say it. Come on. So,
and people are all pissed off. Oh my God, they need to sign Al Michael again. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's time for Al Michael to go. I mean, again, he's 75.
yeah, what do you want?
He's going to go to Amazon for a couple of years, and that'll be that.
Yeah, he's going to get the last big payday of his career. And
kudos to freaking Mike Tirico, man. He goes right from Olympics to Super Bowl back to Olympics.
Yeah. Oh,
It doesn't miss a beat.
Dude, it doesn't matter what you give him. Golf, tennis, baseball, it doesn't matter. Basketball, football, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Anything. He's just smooth as silk, man.
And he's local.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you got to love the local tie, but I don't care where he's from.
He went to Syracuse, but his wife went to
slick.
Michigan. It's from here, so they live outside Ann Arbor. But yeah, Mike Tirico is the consummate pros pro.
Yeah. He's just so smooth to me, man. He's so smooth, man. He seamlessly, his voice and his ability to transition from one style to the other and to kind of have that versatility, he just fits with anything you put him on. It doesn't matter. He can do voiceover work. He can do studio work. He can do live commentary, play-by-play, color. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It doesn't matter what event it is. Nothing's too big. Nothing's too crazy. TV, radio. It doesn't matter. There isn't a single thing this guy can't rip.
No.
He murders it all.
He does everything.
He murders it all.
Flawless.
Yeah, it's like, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. I don't gush over these guys because, like, who gushes over this? But, I mean, when you sit here, we're talking about it, we're thinking about it, we're breaking it down, dude. And this guy, this is who we got left. Because without him.
Because you don't have guys, it's rare that you got guys that basically do play-by-play and they can cover everything and they just do it so flawlessly. You're almost going to have to go back, I mean, the old days, too. I mean, even as great as Summerwall was, he didn't do everything.
No.
You have to go to, like, Kurt Gowdy and Jack Buck and on it where these guys would do because they did the football, but then they did play-by-play for baseball. They could do other sports. Gowdy's doing the American Sportsman. I mean, they were doing everything already because they weren't getting paid the money that freaking Romo gets.
Right.
But on there. But that's great on there with it. On there, we got all our new coaches. Everybody's been hired on there. So we just, with that, surprising is the Raiders are going to stick with Derek Carr. They're going to offer him an extension.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do?
Even they said is oh yeah, he's my man. I mean, John McDaniel said is, I'm sticking with him. I don't have a problem with Carr. We're going to basically give him some more weapons and we're going to ride him out.
Yeah.
And again, I agree with that. I don't know what the hell was with freaking Gruden. He never did like Carr. I'm like, Carr is not the problem. Dude, you've got a really good quarterback. What the hell's wrong with you? You just can't coach.
Well, the thing with
anymore.
the thing with Gruden is he wants to do something or prove something that
he's the smartest man in the room.
Exactly. He wants to say, oh, look what I did that none of y'all saw or none of you thought could happen or no one thought was possible. Look what I did. Instead of just taking what you have that's obvious and making it better.
Yeah,
and
you
adding
didn't give
to
him
it.
any weapons to make it, basically, because
It
if
just-
he had any decent weapons,
It's just so convoluted. It's whatever. The guy's a mess, and we'll get into that mess probably a little bit later because the whole effing league is unraveling right now.
we'll get into that a little bit too. Because
Yeah.
there's my guess, there's 2 franchises that are going to be sold.
Oh my goodness!
First one for
Yeah.
sure. It's gonna be the Commanders.
My whole thing is
That's
like
coming unglued. There's more and more. And when he says, "Oh, we'll investigate ourselves," and the NFL goes, "No, you're not.
yeah, because they gotta
We
do
put up
something.
with this for freaking 20 years.
Yeah, but
Enough's
they
enough."
got to be careful too because the NFL is going to have all kinds of issues of their own to deal with. You know, from a PR standpoint, from a legal standpoint, it's going to be, and they're going to want to hide shit too. So, and now there's scandal within the Cowboys. So let's, you're going to have to do a search on break, and we'll have to see the updating story on that situation too because. I think that's like breaking as we were getting ready to go on the air, some of that stuff, because I didn't hear about it earlier today.
I didn't hear it.
And when we were setting up, when I was down here setting up the studio, they were talking about it on ESPN. So, yeah, there's a butt ton to get to the other side, but on the other side. But I mean, all in all, I thought the game was good. The commercials were as good as we've had in a while, and the ratings really kind of showed all of this stuff. The highest rate up 12.5% from last year, and its highest rating in 5 years or so since the comeback, since the Brady comeback. So, and what it boils down to is, you had a great playoff. I mean, let's be real about it. That was one of the best playoffs that the NFL has given you in probably a decade plus, maybe 2 decades. When you think about how every game was so good, that had to be a big part of that draw. It just absolutely had to be a big part of that increase in viewership. I know that we had political fatigue one year, and you're going to talk about COVID, no fans another year. We'll look at it in a minute, Moose. I just wanted you to be ready. So
I'm ready.
Just keep it there for
it'll
until
be here.
the other side.
But yeah, I mean, it is on there with it on there. But yeah, I mean,
so I think that has a big part of it. But you know what? So who was the number 1 market to watch the game?
us.
Close. It was Cincy.
Oh, Cincy was first, us second, and
Yes.
then
But yeah, so we were a big part of that. Because
Cincy was like 46.2, and we were like 45.9.
Yeah, we were like right, but yep. So that's but that just kind of shows you how the league is so transcendent and people will watch. And I want to kind of break it down to you. Think about this for a second. We got the pro wrestling here in the background. They're all struggling to get about 2.5 million viewers on a given night. And the Oscars, I think it is.
In its heyday, used to get.
Well, they're freaking out
because they can't get shit either.
They're
now.
they're freaking out because they had only 10 million viewers last time, and they're changing things up and they're trying to fix it. 10 million viewers. That's 5 times what pro wrestling draws in. They bring in 10 million. They brought in an average of 114 million viewers.
Yeah.
They peaked at like 168 million viewers.
Half the country.
I mean, I know you got a little sprinkled out throughout the world, but no, it's pretty much here. That is amazing. Amazing numbers.
You look at the top 10 highest rated shows of all time.
And you think about that Detroit and Cincinnati were the top 2 markets. That's a pretty impressive rust belt of people watching the game.
46.9% of your viewers are tuned into the Super Bowl.
Right.
Remember, that's on there. How many people are basically going to parties and so forth with it? And normally I'd be at a party because I was invited to one of them, but
I wanted to enjoy the game and all that
I wanted to
stuff.
pay attention to the game, and Kelly's going in tomorrow
Yeah,
for surgery.
she got her thing,
and
yes.
we need to play it low key and everything with it on there and with it. But yeah, I mean, but if you look at the top 10 shows, the highest ranked shows rated of all time, 8 out of the 10 are Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You're topped by the last episode of MASH in 1983.
Sure.
in episode 7 of Roots in 1976.
Yeah.
That's
So,
it.
that's
Everything else is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if you go beyond that, guess what? It's Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, all the way for the next 10.
Yeah.
So don't give me this, oh, the NFL's losing. The NFL's king, and it's not even close.
Right. I just wanted to put that stuff in perspective. We talked about it before. We talked
The
about getting
NFL's
numbers.
on there. And we've got some stories that are on there that we'll break down there. After
Yes.
break on there. There is another one, too, that we'll get into about. It comes
cool.
locally about college, a TV deal.
Oh, interesting.
We'll get into that on there on the flip side as well. We are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air. And now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you love and life, you need to be in the club.
Taking over this broadcast for the underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the ultimate underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say, infamous venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the ultimate underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop.
Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390 or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby. You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
All right, Rebels, we are back for hour 2 of DSR2. And if you are a Detroit sports fan and you are sick of the garbage in your local market, you know where to find us. If you're in any other market and it just ain't your thing, it ain't swinging, maybe we got something for you. Come hang out with us because we're going to break things down just a little bit different than everybody else as we did the Super Bowl and all these wonderful breaking stories. Yes. We don't really break news, we just kind of sprain it here, but we're definitely gonna bring some stuff for you. So yeah, I can't wait to see what Moose has got on the table. So guys, buckle on up, we're gonna get into it. Who knows what's gonna bring here in hour 2. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2 in hour 2. I am Scrappy here as your host, Sonny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for the second hour of DSR2. Again, as we said, we talked a lot about the Super Bowl, our first hour, the game, the halftime, the commercials, the viewership, everything on there now with it. So we're going to get some more sports on there. As we said, a breaking story broke a little bit earlier this afternoon, and that from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Dallas Cowboys scandal met with outrage, discussed calls for Jerry Jones' ouster from the NFL. Basically, owner and general manager Jerry Jones admittedly likes it that way, even though he's likely shuttering the latest scandal. Details of a lawsuit by 4 Dallas Cowgirl cheerleaders over sexual misconduct allegations against former Cowboys public relations chief Rich Dalrymple, who retired on February 2nd. Honor has ignited a massive backlash, and so probably you'll expect on there. Discuss is not just aimed at Dalrymple, but Jones is already at the center of the gathering controversy with Mike McCarthy after McCarthy discussed his relationship with Jones on Rich Eisen's show on Tuesday. The story goes is Dalrymple was video recording cheerleaders in various states of undress in their locker room.
I was wondering when this shit was going to come out. To me, this is an old story. It's probably happened in multitude of locker rooms, but this has been a story, as far as I can remember, since the 80s at least.
Yeah.
Coming out of the Cowboys, that there was always shenanigans when it came to the cheerleaders.
He was filming them.
So that doesn't, but filming in this
with his
particular
iPhone
instance,
behind a
obviously
partial wall in their locker room. So he's hovering around hiding and they're recording them.
Dude, it's weird. It feels like I've heard shenanigans with around those cheerleaders forever. Now nothing's ever been proven. It was always, kind of chalked up to, oh, we won't let the players fraternize with the cheerleaders and stuff anymore. It's like, wait a minute. No.
Yeah.
There's shenanigans going on here. And so this is crazy, dude. How do you oust the most powerful guy in the league?
Well,
I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to go. I'm not putting any value or weight on this either way.
There is precedence on this because in the 90s, Frisco 49er owner and General Eddie DeBartolo Jr. got the team pulled from him for various scandals. It was due to like real estate scams and all that, but they pulled the ownership from him and gave it to his sister. He was the managing partner in that, and they said, "Nope, you're no longer affiliated with the team." There it is.
Well, right.
And they'll probably have to do the same thing. We're pulling it from Jerry and giving it to his son, unless he's involved too. And they'll have to figure out another relative on there. And Jerry's just going to have to go out and retire and hang out in his Bond supervillain yacht.
Do you think for a second that's going to fly? Oh, give it to my kid. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a fucking break.
No, it shouldn't fly. It's probably,
there's no fucking way that's going to fly in.
Not today's.
No way.
No way.
That can't fly. I can't be the only one that goes, yeah, right. Give it to
again,
this kid
I don't know
ass.
if they're going to be able to. I mean, should they? But I don't think, I don't think the NFL, I don't even think Goodell has enough power to force him out.
Well, that's my thing. Like, he seems to have, more clout than anybody, it feels like.
He's ownership of the richest, most valuable pro sports franchise in the world. I mean, the Cowboys' relatively worth is $6.2 billion.
And I don't know, is it in Jerry Jones's nature to just be like, yeah, all right, whatever, I'll sell?
No. Oh, hell no. Oh, that's a hard hell no. Or as Jerry say, hell no.
So he might put up a little bit of a fight.
Yes. Yeah, he'll put up a lot.
He'll
put up a big fight.
He might put up a little fight.
Goodell might lose his job before Jerry loses the team.
This is crazy. How are you going to bounce two other teams with this hanging there and not do nothing?
Yeah, the Snyder one, they got to be careful because who else is on the emails?
Dude, all of this is coming unglued.
Or did they go after Houston? Houston might be the easiest one to get, basically force them out. Because the Texans are a relatively newer franchise. The owner's not all is on it. I mean, realistically, that might be the best option to just force the ownership out of that one there. And again, whole news with the whole Miami Dolphins under the Stephen Ross. Again, how much is realistically did he offer? How much can we verify that if he offered, Brian Flores $100 grand to lose games on there, then that affects. That might be the most dangerous on it because it does affect the integrity of the game. If you're throwing games on
that's what we talked about when that came down.
Right.
I think trying to prove intent and the whole Rooney Rule.
You got to prove.
I think that's just so hard.
That's hard on there. But if he was offering him to throw money to throw games, that's going to get you no matter.
Well, that was my whole argument.
That will get him. He will be forced to sell that team.
Well, that's I just think his best chance. I think being able to, unless there's a paper trail, how do you prove that? It's the same conversation we had about that before.
Well, they settled the lawsuit in Dallas, so there is that paper trail already.
So, for that, but you're talking about the paying to throw games.
There has to be a paper trail for that to happen.
Right. So I just, to me, I don't know. That would be, but that's the only shot there. Is that because the other one, I just don't see how a court of law is going to say, okay, unless people went around going, yeah, I'm not going to hire that N-bomb. I just don't know how you can, prove it. As much as it's so blatantly obvious, I just don't know how you can prove the intent. That's the thing. Proving intent is like a whole different world. It's so hard to prove intent when it comes to something that's that. It's not like, you can look at someone and go, well, yeah, he came with a loaded gun. Of course he meant to shoot this guy. It's not that so cut and dry. So, but this muddies the waters, and the NFL can't put 4 teams up for sale at the same time.
Oh, God, no.
So what are you going to do? They're all worthy. What are you going to do? That's going to be the problem, dude. And we talked about it before, man. When you start opening this can of worms, everybody's hands dirty, and then you can't point the finger at this guy and do something to this guy and then not be caught with dirt on your hands and then go, oh no, wait, you too now. I mean, it's like the COVID thing almost. It spreads so goddamn fast.
I think the way the NFL's going to try to save faces, they're going to get one owner to get to sell this year, and they'll probably have to have like a good old boy agreement. Maybe next year another one, or a year and a half or 2 years out the next one, and so forth, and go with that. So it'll be a slower process for them to sell, and they'll get new ownership in there, because there's no way you're going to get 400. It's just going to totally decimate the league on there with it on there. But you're going to have one of these teams is going to have to be forced to sell this year.
And the sad thing is, Detroit will still have the goddamn
as bad as it is on there. At least we don't do all this crap. Of course, we just got cheerleaders finally after how many years on there.
I wish they did all this stuff so they'd be forced to sell the fucking team.
No, they just on there with it. Well, and again, with the Detroit Wise, just let's see what this current regime does with free agency and the draft, and we'll see on there, because we'll look on that. But yeah, I mean, people are like, they need to sell the team. The Fords aren't going to sell the team unless they're forced to.
Yeah.
They bought the team for $6 million, or like what, $6 million, and they're worth $1.2 billion.
Yeah. Yep. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't go through. You know what the irony in all this stuff is we'll probably be the only team that's like gleefully, ignorantly clean.
I think the
Steelers. You think they're clean?
Yes,
probably.
Steeler family, yeah. The Runer family that's owned it forever on it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that caused the whole Rooney Rule, because they hired Mike Tomlin on it to split. I think the Steelers. I think the Roonies are good.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I mean, like I said, there's probably only a couple, and we're probably one of them.
Yeah.
As far
as just inept. I mean,
they just can't do their job.
How did former general manager Russ Thomas? Of course, how did Russ Thomas get his job as general manager? Mm-hmm. He was freaking William Clay Ford's driver, and he basically picked him up when he was sloppy drunk.
Yeah. So
when he was, because he was a boozer.
Right.
With it, that's how we got it on there. But the curtain, I mean, we'll see what's on there. But yeah, they're not selling the team. And for people to say, "Oh, the Lions got to sell the Ford family's not selling the team."
No. You're gonna see. You're gonna see why, because we're gonna go through, and the league's gonna have to try to brush a lot of this under the rug. There's no way. Look, this is my take. None of these teams are getting sold now.
No.
None of them. Because how are you going to do it? You're going to pick the worst one, the most egregious one, the one that's got the biggest public outcry? Like, which one are you going to pick? And you're not going to, what are you going to say? I'm going to defer your punishment till next tax season.
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
That shit ain't going to fly. So you don't have a choice. Because if you start putting it out there, the demand, the public backlash is going to be for all of them.
Right.
So, and you can't hide them. You can't hide one and not another. You're going to have to brush all this shit under the rug.
Bring everything to light.
Dude, if you bring everything to light, then more than 4 teams are getting sold.
Well, then that's...
Dude, you just said that's the end of the league. You can't even do that. It'll decimate the league. So, you can't do that. You know what you do? You take the most egregious stuff and you get rid of it. And you find the worst team, the team that was that far gone, and you go, look, you're going to take a PR hit on this thing here. We're going to fine you. We're going to fucking death penalty you, quote unquote, as a team, as a franchise. And that's going to be the end of it.
I mean,
And that's it. That's all that's going to happen. One team is going to take a gnarly hit, and no one's getting sold.
right. Well, I mean, they have forced teams. I mean, the NFL's gotten record. I mean, Jerry Richardson had to sell the Panthers because he got basically popped for something, again, sexual harassment and all that. It was during the whole Me Too thing. He got on it. I mean, people say, they got Donald Sterling. They go, dude, yeah, well, here's what his punishment was. He had to sell the team, and what did he get?
Yeah.
$3 billion.
You're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee. Real punishment there.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry bought the team for, $100 million or whatever, and he's going to make $6 billion.
All right.
Real punishment.
So, like I said,
Yeah, and the key is who's the worst egregious on there with it. I mean, again, I hate to say the Cowboys one might be the less egregious, as disgusting as it is.
right.
Because you got the whole thing going down in Houston. That's a freaking train wreck, a debacle and everything. And then you got the 20 years of freaking history with Snyder and the Washington team.
I don't even know what to
He's
say.
got to be the one. They may just honor, but again, who else is on the emails? Do they just redact everything on there? All else you need to see is Snyder. To Dan Snyder, Daniel.Snyder@WashingtonFootballTeam.org.
Oh yeah, they're gonna absolutely. If they put anything out, it'll be redacted. At some
Of course,
point.
it has to be.
Yeah. Yep.
Or are they going to go after? Stephen Ross because he's the new guy in the block, even though he's.
I just. Oh my gosh. It's a mess because you can't. I don't know how you can go after these teams, and one over another. I mean, I guess you could death penalty 2 and sell 2 and all this, but then your league is so messed up. Yeah. So then I think maybe but how do you sell 4 teams? I mean, it's almost impossible to sell these teams. What do you do with these teams in the meantime while you're trying to move the sale? Do you allow these cats to? I don't know what you do. So that is the league is got their hands effing full.
That's why Goodell's going to earn that $40 million paycheck.
When you have a professional team that is in a work stoppage right now at a time where this is probably the worst time for them to have a work stoppage because people are going to forget the sport exists pretty soon as it is, and that doesn't even become part of the conversation because of this right here.
Yes.
If we had known, if we've been, not that this stuff wasn't developing leading in, but had we had a little more information earlier on the day, this might have superseded our whole first hour. That is amazing content as far as I'm concerned. I mean, geez Louise.
Yeah, we're definitely.
That is crazy. So let's take a record of what we got here. Let's break this down, Moose. How many teams do we got with scandals currently running?
Well, we got the Dolphins. We've got the Commanders.
Yep.
We got the Texans. We got the Cowboys.
Okay. Can we not say Jacksonville? Now, it's not sell the team worthy, but have they not?
They've made some questionable decisions.
Has it not been a debacle?
It's been a debacle, and I think the fact is
I'm not just saying on the field.
I think Shere Khan's got to sell. He's got to get rid of Balky as a general manager and just get fresh start there. Yeah, I would say that's a debacle.
I mean, were they not on a borderline Urban Meyer scandal there?
Yeah. Well, it all started when they hired him because he brought his assistant from Ohio State, the wife beater,
and he's kicking fools and all this other shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was that.
What other teams we got out there that kind of have stuff going on? No, guys. I see the text and all that stuff. We'll get it. The Adrian Peterson, the shit isn't even going to be on the radar anymore. He likes to beat his kids. You're surprised he beats his old lady. Get the fuck out of here. anyway.
Well, we know the Broncos will have to be sold because Bowen passed away, and the family's going to have to sell it because of the debt tax. The estate tax on there. So they have to sell the team because it's again. Or they're going to have to come up with 50% of the value of the team to pay for the estate tax.
Yeah,
so they're going to have to sell on there. So that might be that again. They're going to sell, but that's just for finding other reasons in it with it.
Well, so if I'm overlooking the league, right? I'm looking at all this stuff. What's going on in Miami, Washington, Houston, Dallas, the Jacksonville nonsense from this year, Denver situation with that going on.
The Chargers is a debacle with their ownership.
And moving and the whole thing.
No.
What just happened in Vegas? That Vegas thing can't. I mean, what now? You just smacked out Gruden and there's nothing to see here.
Right.
I mean,
there's still going to be something going on.
I'm not once again not selling the team worthy. I'm just looking at all these like newsworthy, crazy
losing
things.
draft picks on there. Yeah, fines. Yes.
Right. I'm just looking at all these like in turmoil situations.
Right. I mean, again, the Browns are on there. The whole situation has when his truck stops. There was that scandal there, and he's no longer running the team. His wife is now because of on there with it. But yeah, I mean, Kraft with the whole getting the rub and tug.
Right. Well, they got that taken care of. So that's
because they basically got an overzealous DA that screwed that one up because they're recording everybody, and it's
But I guess my point would be that's a hint of what we have to come. That one's behind us now. But that is a hint of what we have to come. Like if we know in hindsight, then what we know now, we'd be like, this is where it's all going to start. All these owners are going to start unraveling in one shape, form, or another. So I guess my point is, we got a half a dozen teams already that have major issues that the league needs to deal with all at once.
Yeah.
So if you got 6 or 8 teams out of 32, so a quarter of your league.
Yeah. That's again. Well, you have to look at you just go look at the ownership on there. What's the common denominator of the ownership? They're all white, and they're all older than dirt.
Right. But I mean, and apparently they all do effed up stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, again, because they're all billionaires. So name me a billionaire that doesn't do effed up stuff.
That's becoming more and more evident. So to me, I just think they're gonna have to do something just because all this stuff's breaking via the media.
Right.
So I think when it's all said and done, they'll do their little math equation and say, okay, this team is gonna get slapped pretty hard. Maybe we sell this team because it's just too far gone. So I sell this team. So this team gets spanked. This team gets sold, and then these teams get a slap on the wrist. And then when that's all said and done, all we got is the Denver thing,
right?
And then if you're prolonging stuff by doing individual investigations and then just trickling so it doesn't seem like a big thing, you just be like, all right, on a non-news cycle day, we handle the X problem, and then Y problem, and then Z problem, and just kind of pick away at it and try to pick different. That's what they're going to try to do. They're going to use PR maneuvers and tactics to try to minimize the damage here. But we're never going to get this iceberg. We're never going to see the bottom of that thing.
Oh, God, no.
We're never going to see the bottom of that thing. We'll be happy if we get to see the the silhouette of it underwater a little bit, because they're not going to peel back shit. I think in the end, you have 6 to 8 teams with major problems, 4 teams that are on the
cusp.
on the sell list, and they're in the end they're not going to do any of that. They're gonna do They're going to give one team they're going to kill them with draft picks and fines and playoff bans or whatever they got to effing do, and then they're going to take a couple more teams and hit them with some fines and stuff like that, and then they're going to use that as an example and keep it moving. And I don't think anybody gets sold because they're all in on it. We talked about it with the emails, Moose. There's no way. And then they just shut up. They're like, oh, nothing to see here. Wait a minute. No, you told us there was
650,000 emails.
Yeah, 650,000 things to see. What are you talking about? There's nothing to see. You went out of your way to tell us it was 650,000 things to see, and now you're telling us there's nothing to see.
Well, the kicker is when Gruden files a lawsuit against the NFL for wrongful termination, all that. Again, trust me, they're going to settle that one because they don't want it to go to trial because then you got to get disclosures and everything else, and everything then comes to light. Now they'll settle that puppy out, and Gruden will get paid, and he'll just go off and whatever and be done with it because they don't want it to come to light.
What a mess.
If anybody's going to get sold, they're going to have to go after any of the teams. They're going to go after the weakest owner, the owner that they can push around and bully.
I agree, but
and
it also has to.
And I think of all the owners, Houston, because the original owner of the Houston, it's the son, because the original owner passed away, McNair.
Right. Well, I tend to agree, but I think the court of public opinion does come into play here, and when you start getting into what comes to light, I think the egregiousness of certain crimes and all that will come into play here. I know they're going to try to control that narrative, but if you take a team, this is what's going to happen. If you force somebody to sell a team for something less than somebody else is getting a slap on the wrist for, that's getting out. That's getting out.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't care what kind of raps you put in. You better murder them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm creeping around in the wood in the muck with you, and then I'm gonna be your patsy, and I'm gonna go down and be forced to sell while this fool over here did way worse than I did and got away with a slap on the wrist. Dude, I'm going down with a blaze of glory.
Right.
I'm ratting on everybody and everything.
I mean, $1 billion here, billionaire, then it adds up to serious money. I mean, we're talking billions. I mean, that's what you just say. Maybe I can make it happen. Where that guy might just happen to, Jerry just might have a heart attack.
I mean, you're gonna have to.
We'll get him some poppers. High price call girl, and he's gonna die with a smile. It'll take him 3 weeks to get that smile off his face.
I'm just saying, man. If you're gonna force me to sell, so if I'm gonna go to Houston, I'm gonna force him to sell. But let's say this Dallas thing blows up and it's like a crazy scandal, and you let Jerry Jones walk, but you make me sell.
Oh hell no! I'm gonna basically expose everybody.
That's my point, man. And what are you going to do short of smoking the fool? What are you going to do?
Wouldn't it be just crazy? Also say, again, if one of these guys dies, I want an autopsy.
Oh,
toxicology.
Oh, yeah, dude, without a doubt. If the owner of an NFL team dies and just before, they're up a potential scandal and it could be a sale situation, yeah. If any one of these teams, these 6 teams that we kind of threw in the mix, really only 4, but there's a couple other that are in the questionable, but I would say 4. Yeah, if any of those 4 teams' ownership ends up fucking missing or dead,
yes,
I think it's been figured out. I think someone was going to snitch.
Yep. So.
Oh, man.
So we got on there. We got the NBA trade deadline was last week on there. So obviously the big trade was between the Brooklyn Nets and the 76ers there. Where basically Philly got Harden and Millsap, and they gave up a couple a possible first rounder, a couple second rounders, plus DeAndre Bembry, Seth Curry, not Steph Curry, right, Andre Drummond, and Ben Simmons. With that,
well, those last 3, adds to your bench.
Yeah.
I mean, adds depth.
It adds depth to the bench.
I mean, but beyond that, I'm not really like uber excited. But what were you getting out of Harden?
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it,
Harden's like a free agent, I think, after this year, and he's going to want a max deal. There's no way I give him a max deal.
well, he doesn't want to be there.
No, not Brooklyn and Philly. I mean,
Right.
if I'm Philly, you
Oh,
better win
sure,
it all
sure,
this year
sure.
because
Well, they had
the
to
process is just didn't work.
Well, this is the whole thing. They just had to get rid of Ben Simmons. So when you flip the perspective to Philly, I'm not worried about that
Yeah,
because I just had to get rid of Ben Simmons.
right.
So now I get out from underneath the Ben Simmons situation, and if I lose Harden, at least I got somebody playing this year.
Yeah,
So to me, for them, that's a win because the alternative is nothing on the court, nothing at all.
right.
So, so yeah, as far as Philly goes, I'm not even concerned about it because, okay, yeah, so what? I just don't re-sign him next year. He goes somewhere else.
Right.
Okay, like whatever. I didn't have anything. I basically gave up an old pair of slippers.
Yeah,
Ben Simmons is an old pair of slippers.
right.
He's under the bed collecting dust. You ain't worn them in forever. You should have thrown them out because you got fucking new ones for Christmas and you don't need them.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And they're not getting any use. That's what he is. So I don't get it. I mean, at least to Philly, that's what he is. In Brooklyn, to me, he will automatically bring something that they do not have. Defense.
Right.
So, okay, he's not a great shooter. Okay, you want to mess with him about that shit. He can shoot 1,000,001 shots until he starts making more. I mean, that can be improved upon. Even if he doesn't become a great shooter, it can still be improved upon.
Mm-hmm.
But the other stuff, I mean, defense, man, you either do it or you don't. And these guys just don't hustle. They don't play defense. They don't do their thing. Like on that side of the ball, a lot of those guys. And now you have that. And maybe that rubs off on some guys and you start playing some defense. You'd be surprised at, how effective defense actually is in basketball and winning games.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
That was you got that trade, and then we got New Orleans and Portland making a trade. So Portland dumps C.J. McCollum, Larry Nance Jr., Tony Snell, Weenan Gabriel, but they got let's see here. Portland got Cody Zeller, Tomas Sederansky, and Nicole Alexander Walker, and Josh Hart. What the hell is Portland doing, dude?
Yeah, I don't even get that.
If I'm Lillard down, I want trade me right fucking now.
Yeah.
I want out. What the fuck? I stayed here and this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'd be hot.
And then Sacramento trading Halliburton. What the hell? Dude, he's your franchise. He's the guy you build get rid of Fox. You keep Halliburton. They trade him to freaking Indiana. Him and Tristan Townsend and Buddy Hield. And what do they get? They get and then they get back as Justin Holiday's Sabonis and Lamb. It made no sense. Them getting rid of Halliburton.
I don't get it.
Shit, if you were getting rid of Halliburton, we'll give you Josh Jackson and Killian Hayes.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And whatever, you want Jeremy Grant? Good. Here, you can have him too.
Yeah.
We'll take Halliburton. God, you can imagine a backcourt with Halliburton and Cade Cunningham?
Oh my goodness.
Dude.
Ridiculous.
With that, I mean, there's that one on there. Yeah. I mean, that was the one I'm going, huh? That was on there. And then Milwaukee getting Ibaka.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, on there. But
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a nice piece for them and their defending champ situation. So, and I think when you look at the Greek freak, when you look at Giannis and what he's doing, and he always seems to turn up at the right time. So, geez. nice run for them in the East. It's going to be hard to topple the tops, I think, right
Yeah.
now. When
Oh,
you
yeah.
start
And then
looking at
Sacramento
them.
gets Josh Jackson, Trey Lyles, and Dante Vincenzo in that 4-team trade with Detroit.
I don't know what any of that does for anybody.
Detroit got
Nothing.
we got what's his name? What is it? What do we get? Oh crap! I just had it here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I did.
Son of a bitch in internet or
Damn it, I
computer
just-
technology, whatever. I don't know, man.
Bagley. Yeah, we
Oh,
got
yeah.
on there. But it was, Marvin Bagley on there. And it's like, okay. He's a big man. He can play some defense.
You know, in the end, all these other trades, I'm not sure what any of them really
None of them,
do.
I mean, just
None of them
huh?
are like, yeah.
Dallas getting Dimwitty and Bertrands and Brown. They traded up Porzingis. I think that Porzingis and Luka dynamic just never worked.
No. Well, if it's addition by subtraction, just because of that kind of, like you said, the combo just didn't seem to kind of work together, then it is what it is. But that just seems like something that I can't believe they couldn't make work. But once again, all you Brooklyn fans that came out and said they'd win a championship with that squad, look what you got now. You had nothing but a headache and a mess. So
Yeah.
what it just, as awesome as things look at first, you can quite often have the exact opposite in the end. And all those Brooklyn fans are like, oh, whoop, whoop, you put those three guys together, ain't nobody stopping them. Yeah, well, we'll never know because they had how many games and they only got, like a dozen together?
Right.
So,
Yeah, they haven't played together on there. And
yeah, they got like 19 games together in all this time. So, with all of them on the court or something like that in the teens.
and it comes out as Zion needs another foot surgery.
Well, hey, dude, we talked about it here about it.
He needs to drop
When you're
45 pounds.
When you're that big and you have a foot injury that requires surgery, this is an issue. We went on and on about this. I said if Shaq come out with a fucking foot injury that required a surgery and all this stuff, dude, that he's not. I told you he wasn't playing this year. Did we not talk about it?
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't playing this year.
No.
No, it's a foot. He'll come back. No, he is too big, guys. Even if he isn't like way overweight, which I do believe that he is, when you're just a big man like that, it takes longer for that son of a bitch to heal. You just can't have that kind of size and weight and on that thing and move it right. You know what I mean? It takes time.
The pounding that your
Yeah.
feet take in basketball is outrageous. I mean, come on. I mean, Sam Bowie is his feet on there. Greg Oden, because of course Greg Oden was 170 years old. He was there when they fought the revolution.
Yes, at least he looked like it.
I
think he
did
wore
the
the
same
hats
thing
on the
too with
court.
Bill Walton. Bill Walton was getting arguably the second best center to ever come out of college, and his feet basically screwed him over. Yeah. He had a couple good years in Portland. He had a nice year when they won the title, coming to the 6-man, coming off the bench in Boston. Sure. But yeah, I mean, his career was destroyed by his feet, the injuries. I mean, how many stress fractures and surgeries and all that. Oh. Zion's got to lose. They're saying he's 3 1/4. He's got to drop 50 pounds. He needs to get down to around 270.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's not 7'5".
No.
He's 6'8". Dude,
right.
you got to get down to 270.
Yeah.
You need to look like LeBron. 260 to 270, just absolutely ripped, and take care of your body.
Yeah,
and he's not.
And that's a long way to go when you don't do it, right? Like it's not like he's ever had that physique. He's always been bigger.
He's just he was coming out at 18 years old.
Remember, he blew out his shoes.
Because he had that, he always had that baby fat because he was 18 years old. I'm thinking, all right,
you don't have baby fat at 18 anymore.
He's still got that kid. I mean, he doesn't.
No, he had that look because that's what you think. He's just overweight.
He's just a
big guy, and he was always a bigger guy, and he always carried more weight.
Right,
he dominated because he was
bigger.
Bigger
once he got pros, they would.
He was like Andy Reid in the quarterback competition. That's what he is. Come on, let's be real now. You don't have baby fat at 18, motherfucker. That shit's gone when you're weaned off the nipple, motherfucker. That's human fat after that.
Right.
It's not baby fat no more.
I thought again once he got the pros, they would basically get him trained on it.
No.
But he doesn't want to.
No, dude, no. If you don't
He
have
doesn't
it,
want to be in New Orleans. Is what it is.
it don't matter where you put him. If you don't have, dude, he loves his food. What do you mean you don't want to be in New Orleans?
Zion.
No, dude, he loves New Orleans. He loves it so much he's eating it.
Well, yeah, I could get all out about some beignets and some
Yes.
on there all day
No,
long.
yeah, it's not a New Orleans thing. It's a Zion thing. Okay, let's stop with that. Zion, he loves food. He's a foodie. He likes to eat. That's it. That you're not gonna change that. If he wanted to change that, he would have changed it before. He would have changed it in college.
Right.
He'd have changed it. He'd have known. They'd have told him, dude, you get in shape or you're never going to make it even through college, let alone the pros. Look at you blowing out your shoes and getting hurt because you're not in shape.
Right.
And then now, yeah. So
Yeah,
no,
you got to get in shape and on there. And
That's
it's
not
like
gonna
you look at
change.
some of these offensive linemen in the NFL that retire, and all of a sudden they're like, "What the fuck, man?" Joe Thomas looks like a male model now. He's like, 6'7". He was like 3 1/4. Now
Well,
he's
yeah.
like 200. Matt Burke, former Baltimore Ravens center, 300 plus pounds. Now he's down to like 200 pounds.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
they're all just ripped. It's like,
So
we don't need to keep the bulk on there. Trust me,
Sure.
it was hard to keep that bulk on there. Our bodies weren't built like that.
No, they're
And
not
it
supposed
just
to be.
falls off. That's how
Zion's the opposite.
Yeah. Well, there are those that look like Jesus, man. He looked like he ate himself.
So he's just a big guy. He's a
Honor.
naturally like bigger guy. So it is what it is. So I know I got a stupid fun fact for you. So that lower belt, he's got the 2 belts on.
Yeah.
The top belt was made. The lower belt was made by the original maker. The top one is not. The top one is going to be his for his home gimmick afterwards. And the bottom one, the one that they'll continue to keep on television, has 1,577 cubic zirconia stones on it.
Holy shit.
And that would have been the one on the left.
Okay.
Our left, his right. So there you go. Fun factoids. And it was very specific, so you know I'm not bullshitting you.
No.
I didn't just pull 1,577 out of my ass.
It's belts on there. I trust you. On that one. So yeah, Lakers are now 9th on there. They're in the for the play-in on there,
so
and I think
they're lucky to be 9th. They
Brooklyn
should be
is like
19th, and there's not even 19 teams
the
in the
Lakers are gonna be
conference.
garbage for a decade and a half now. Watch.
It is the single bleakest long-term output of any team in the league right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. You can't draft. You got no equity. You got everything tied up. I don't know how you can get out of the Russell Westbrook, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He's 44 against the cap. LeBron's 41 and AD's 38. Dude, that's 110 million of your cap.
Right. You're
What are
over
you
the-
doing? So now that's why you have 15 players that are on the senior citizen discount.
Right.
That ain't gonna work.
No.
You know, this isn't one of those little memes you see on TV where, like, you know, you've got $20 to make a concert, pick your favorite bands, and then like each one's worth like $1, $5, $2, and then you pick it. That's not what this is.
No.
You can't just like say, okay, I'll pick the top 3 best ones and then pick a bunch of dollar ones from the dollar bin.
No.
You can't do that.
No.
So that's what it is. You've got LeBron, you've got AD, you've got Westbrook, all 3 different guys. What you know what? And you could say whatever you want about Westbrook. He's the only one that's played every fucking game.
I know.
He missed 1 game, and these guys have missed in the teens or more, both of them. So, and none of them play together as a group. It's only like they're all individuals in a place. And
But we've been saying that for years about
Yeah.
it. Like, Anthony, why are you going to keep Anthony Davis? The dude's never been healthy ever.
the only reason you guys won is because the bubble was set up for you to win.
Right. Because everybody rested, got healthy, basically stayed in
Ready
the
to
bubble.
go. And then you were
they're
locked
ready to-
down, and all you could do is basketball.
Right.
And so, yeah, I ain't hearing it any other way. The big fat asterisk next to that one. And because look at the teams that were in it that haven't quite recovered, that did well in the bubble. and teams that played bad in the bubble that came back after the bubble. So the bubble was an anomaly. Whatever happened in there was like Vegas. It just stays there. What happened in the bubble stays in the bubble. And I don't know.
So you're in a, oh, wow.
That was stiff as shit. Gosh damn. That drop kick, the dude was in the top, and he drop kicked him off the top.
Like a kind of flip kick on there. It was like, what?
Yeah,
the,
dude.
Holy shit.
Well, Darby Allin, when he does his, which is the guy on his getting dropped, he just throws himself everywhere, dude. That's Darby Allin. He'll throw himself anywhere and everywhere. So, like, when it comes to selling, he's not afraid to. He's got to convince people to do shit to him. That's how crazy he is. You know, whatever. That's a badge of honor for this goof. I wouldn't want to take a bump like that. You might as well just like fall off a building or something.
So, I just saw like a commercial on there. On HBO, they're actually got a show coming out on HBO Max about the Showtime Lakers.
Oh yeah.
So it's like somebody playing Magic and
sure.
Somebody playing Dr. Jerry Buss on there. So it's going to be all about that.
Do we get to hear about all his escapades and
that? Are we going to get James Worthy getting popped with 2 undercover cops there trying to have a threesome with 2 undercover cops in Houston?
All that stuff. We're gonna go
Kareem smoking blunts.
We're gonna be done. We're gonna be like, damn, Magic. No wonder you got HIV, motherfucker. Jesus, you just put your dick in everything.
We expected that out of Wilt.
Yeah, but you, Magic. You guys were all like out here with the Mile High Club trying to outdo each other.
So we got that on there. NHL action going on there. Trade deadlines there.
Dude, the Red Wings. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So, like, they got up on the Wild the other night pretty quick.
Yeah.
2-0. I'm like, whoa. And their offense looked pretty good full strength. Statistically, not bad. Their power play is fucking hot garbage.
Oh, God, yes.
I've never seen anything like... I've never seen such a drastic change between full strength and fucking... in power play.
They're better short-handed than they are on the power play.
They're better in full strength than on the power play.
Oh, yes.
It makes no fucking sense. The Wild almost scored shorthanded and had at least 3 solid shots on goal while shorthanded.
Yeah.
How the and that was when the Wings were up 2-0.
Yeah. How
the hell does that happen? I mean, and in the end, they got smoked 7-4.
Right.
We talked about. I talked about this with somebody else. That's if you haven't noticed, that whole 2-line pass change and all that stuff they did is working. Because now you're getting, instead of getting 1 and 2 points games, you're getting 7 and 10 point games now. So the offense is definitely opening up. But yeah, no. Red Wings wise, I mean, I did get to see Stevie.
Yeah.
I did get a chance to thank him for coming back. Although he wasn't having a great day, so we didn't have a long conversation. Yeah, the Red Wings. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to fix that there, but hopefully as the season kind of pans out, it'll be a little bit more. Now Lidstrom scored. Gustav Lidstrom.
Yes.
Who's he?
It's a rookie they drafted out. Not again Lindstrom,
right.
Lind, not
Lidstrom with a D. Right.
Right. Again,
it just sounds weird, right?
Right.
Because you're used to it, and then he says it, and I'm like, did he just say what I think he says? And then I look and I see in the end, and I'm like, okay, it can't be.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it does feel weird like that because now I'm watching the game, and they're playing, and I'm hearing I'm hearing a very similar name by the same play-by-play team. Essentially, we've heard for 20 fucking years here, 30 years here, and so and then I'm watching the game, and at that point they're up 2-0, and he scored that second goal, and I'm like, oh, what am I watching here? Is this team starting to turn a corner? Not that I expected them to win, but that they would compete with a team like this. in the end. I guess not.
Yeah,
really.
I mean Minnesota's always
In the
pretty
end,
decent on there, but
well, yeah, they're like third in the league or something.
Yes.
Like that. So like,
they are on there. But then you get the way they handled Philly. I mean, they destroyed Philly. Then
right.
Larkin has definitely took it a
Yeah.
huge step up this year. He's just
and he needed to.
right.
You know, it's kind of
You're
one
the
of those.
captain now. We better
Yeah.
see. You know what? That's honor, and he's definitely. Cider is just. I mean, if he doesn't win the Calder in a runaway, then there's something fucking wrong.
Yeah. Well,
They had on there who'd you start your on there, and they had Cider and Raymond and a couple other guys. And these guys are like, well, we'll take him. Like, no, I'm taking Cider, dude. A freaking 20-year-old defenseman playing like that at a rookie,
yeah.
dude. He's playing like a 10-year veteran on defense. He's big, he's physical, he's gifted offensive wise in there.
Sure.
Dude, I'm going with a defenseman like that.
I'm with you.
Those don't fall. Those are rare.
Yeah.
With it, and again, we got the goalie, we got the rookie, and no, I can't pronounce his name. I'm gonna butcher.
Yeah.
But he's leading the league in rookie for wins by rookie. I mean, that's what I said. We're still not quite there yet on there, and I think they're getting. I think next year is where they're gonna. I think things will start coming together, and you're going to definitely see them making a huge run to playoffs. And that I do think that's the case with it. But yeah, I mean, of all the teams locally wise, I feel best about them.
Exactly. Yeah, without a doubt. It's not even close. So, anyway. So yeah, that's your hockey fix. Man, I can't believe the way that I'm still soaking in the gravity of what could be happening with this NFL thing. I'm just kind of curious how all these stories are going to play out. And here it is again. You know what? There's some good basketball being played. I mean, look at what is Chris Paul? What is this guy is the most cumbersome, like unassuming he doesn't have a great first step. He doesn't have a crazy handle. Like there's nothing that really like stands out. This guy always gets his shot and they're killing it right now.
Yeah.
Phoenix. So there's a lot of good stuff going on in the NBA and NHL, and we're going to be talking NFL.
Did you see over the weekend at the
over.
Waste Management Open there, the Phoenix Open there? They had Booker was there. Devin Booker. Guess what he was wearing? A Stafford Lions jersey.
Nice.
They're like, yes, let's make it happen. Get Devin Booker to play with Cade Cunningham now.
That'd be awesome. I can't believe he was wearing a Lions one.
Stafford jersey.
A Lions one. I mean, if you're gonna wear a Stafford's jersey, I'd get it if it was a Rams. They're in the Super Bowl, but
passed on him. Fucking Stan Van Gundy should be jettisoned into space.
Well, yeah, the Stan Van Gundy thing turned out to be a mistake. Yeah, that experiment was not. That did not go well for us.
No,
unfortunately. Yeah, it's too much for one guy to do that. Whatever, I don't want to get into that again. So yeah, but all these great stories on the field, on the court, in the ice, all that stuff, and we're gonna be talking about two sports that aren't even playing. Watch. That's what's going to dominate the storylines. We're going to be back with this NFL stuff because it's going to be a mess. So we're going to be talking NFL regardless. We're going to be talking baseball at some point in time or another, either if they don't get back to playing soon.
Yeah.
At
least they're talking, so we'll give them that on there. They did come in agreement that universal DH will be there, so we no longer have to see pitchers hit.
That's good. That's a big one, really.
Yeah. So they're getting there on it. There's going to be a delay. It's probably on there, but it's not going to be. I think they're going to get things worked out and everything with it. Our Detroit Pistons beat the Boston Celtics 112-111.
Oh wow! The Boston Celtics had that. They were the hottest team in the league.
Yeah,
they won like 9 in a row or something, 10 in a row.
So we had Cade Cunningham had 20 points, 6 assists, 8 boards. On there, let's see. Jeremy Grant had 24 points. Sadiq Bey had 20 points. Let's see. Sadiq Bey was 5 for 8 from 3 points. Jeremy Grant was 4 from 6, so that wasn't bad.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, well, that's the kind of performances you're going to need to to get by, you're gonna have to kind of work as a team. And
Bagley had 6 boards in 23 minutes, so not bad.
but that's isn't that just what it is
Yeah.
when it comes to the Celtics, right? Like we were like, where are the Celtics? What are they doing? They have a big chance, and then all of a sudden they're gone. They disappear. Where are the Celtics? What's going on? Then now all of a sudden they're crawling back again. They're very up and down, this team.
Yes.
So I'm kind of curious on what's next for that, because that team, it just seems like just so up and down. But any old way. Jeez Louise, Moose. So I know I know that the football season is over, and it's sad, and you guys are all saddened. But we got don't we have like a whole new spring football league coming?
Yes, the USFL starts in March.
So it's not far away. We'll be
No.
talking about it. I saw some stuff. We were kind of joking because The Rock was the MC for the Super Bowl, and they're like, what if the Rock swoops in and works with the league and just uses the we'll have the XFL will be like the relegation league in soccer. The best XFL team can move up and take the worst NFL team based on performance that year.
Yes.
And we could have new teams flow in and out of the league, kind of like relegation. So you could be punished and go to XFL.
The worst team goes in there and the best team comes up.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we know it won't be the Michigan Panthers because they got Jeff Fisher, the king of mediocrity.
Well, I'd like to do it with the USFL. But I'd be like, let's open the forbidden door and do it with them all. Let's just all of football. Anybody that plays well will take you. Just like you guys, man. Anybody that plays well and hangs well together with others, with us, we'll take you.
Yep.
Come back next week. We'll see y'all. We love you. Be good.
Peace out, brothers.
Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop.